Greetings, YouTube. This is Fragments of Memory, aka the Armchair Philosopher. This video goes out to a YouTuber by the name of Sean D67 or 69. Sean D67, that's what it is. I liked your vid, man. You sort of struck a nerve with me. I am someone that is a fan of that genre of music, the R&B of the 60s and 70s. And I found it interesting that you pose that question because I too have asked that. We have rock bands. Even to this day, there are rock and roll bands. There are alternative bands. There's rock bands where there's a guitar, a drummer, a piano player. But in the black music world, I guess, or the R&B world, we don't really have that anymore. Like, and I'm probably shared this in my videos. Where back in the '90s, when everybody was into Biggie and Tupac or Alanis Morissette or Ani DeFranco, I was into Diana Ross and the Supremes. I was into Smokey Robinson, the Miracles. I was into the Jackson Five. I was into the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind and Fire, one of my favorite bands. And I was also into Ohio Players and Parliament Funkadelics, and these were these amazing musicians as well as singers. Graham Central Station, Sly and the Family Stone, James Brown and the JBs. This was music to me. And nowadays, we don't have that type of talent in the R&B world, where everything's either auto-tune or every time you turn around, there's a collaboration with a rap artist. Here's an R&B guy, and then we have Lil Wayne rapping, Nicki Minaj rapping on some R&B guy's song. And you're just like, what happened to the music of R&B? I'm I'm a fan of this song. It was a rock song called "I Like That Old Time Rock and Roll," and this is the kind of music that soothes the soul. And I reminisce about the days of old. Though I'm someone that was not born in that era, I appreciate the music of that era. I appreciate the talent that came from that era. I appreciate the people that did the music for the love. But yes, like anything, especially in the world of art, you got to deal with the business side as well as the artistic side. So it's almost like this sort of strange symbiosis going on, where the business side says, let's think about the bottom line, the profit margin. Let's keep generating more revenue so we can keep this art side going, because you need the money to fuel the art, i.e. you need the money to fund the art. And then the art, of course, is the reason that the business is in business. So it's almost like this sort of dangerously in love, Bonnie and Clyde type relationship. Where on one hand, hey, the art is good, and sometimes the business cripples the art, and sometimes the art can screw with the business. So that is something interesting. And sometimes some things of beauty have been messed up by the business side, where this is more marketable. This is more, whether it's singing, music, acting, drawing, whatever. Where the business world, all it knows is dollars and cents. It doesn't respect things like creativity and intuition and the process. They don't respect that process. Their thing is produce something for me so I can present the finished product. And that's one thing I noticed, like doing plays in high school, being involved in my high school musicals, was that the creative process went from memorizing lines to rehearsing to working with the set once the set was built, and then working with the costumes when we got the costumes in, and just working with the other actors and bringing all of that to fruition. And the problem, I hate it, or the problem is that sometimes that business side gets in there. Whether it's on a school production, whether it's a community theater, or even a professional thing, the business side gets in. And sometimes the art gets served up to the business gods, or the money gods, if you will. I think our music has suffered due to finance and economics. Yeah, I don't want to pay. it's very easy for me to just have a singer and a drummer as opposed to a 12-piece band, you know. But I feel like R&B, if R&B got to at least like do some of these rock bands today where they could do the band thing, I would so love it. That would be groovy. Like just come up with an R&B band instead of just a dude with some auto tune and some synthesizers in the background. And see, the thing with Stevie did synthesizers, but he still incorporated actual musicians on his albums. So Stevie might have been thrown down with them synthesizers, but Stevie still had musicians that were with him, and he played drums and harmonica and piano and all that. So I mean that's why I think I have mad respect for Stevie, man. So he wasn't afraid to do music, even if he sent the and I'm a fan of electronica. Don't get me wrong. I like the acid jazz, down tempo, chill out, trip hop type of music. But even then, there's still some creativity in that. But I think they're trying to go back to the old school a little bit, which that's why I like them. I mean, I like some electronica. Like Angoon, she's good with some electronica stuff. I like Deep Forest. I like what's another one? I like the Pizzicato Fives album, The Sound of Music. So there's some good stuff, and there was even got hip to a friend of mine hit me to Portishead's Dummy album, which is also good. But that's the thing. I think sometimes we let the business side take over too much, and there's always this sort of precarious tightrope walk that you got to do between art and business. And maybe we'll get it right, but until then, yeah, R&B has been raped by the business side, and now it's this sort of ugly, hideous thing where, whew, that's why I go sometimes and just listen to some old school Stevie, or some old school Switch, or some Earth, Wind and Fire, or even some Ohio Players, or even some Graham Central Station. So I still love my old music. Well, hey man, I like the fact I like your style in that regard. I like the fact that you still give props to the old school. And it's to the point where if I hear a new song, I can tell that they've taken it, lifted it from an old song. And that's sad. So there you go. Well, take it easy, have a good one, and thanks for tuning in.